The French streamer that was humiliated for years and passed away on stream. Trigger warning, and this is for everyone in the chat too. The story does get a little dark here. Let's go ahead and read through it a little bit. Since 2023, Jean Permanov has faced nearly daily beatings from his so-called saviors, met with laughter and applause from the crowd. Just for some context, I believe he's like in this group that streams insanely consistently to the tune of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week, multiple hours. And apparently it's been a bit on their stream to humiliate this dude. Clips shared by their community show JP repeatedly beaten by Safine and Owen, the very people he regarded as friends. At 40, Jean Permanov streamed from his mother's house on welfare, first noticed for his rage outbursts before gaining traction with TK78. From then on, JP was regularly humiliated, though he could leave his parents' home at any time. The real trouble began after TK78's affair came to light. Owen soon drew JP into IRL streaming with Safine, where the physical abuse began growing harsher each month. I just want to make sure we're not breaking TOS here, but he looks like he's in a lot of pain. I don't know what's going on here, but apparently this is a regular thing. The violence and torture was dragged for years with ever more perverse torture games devised for a young audience that thrives on the violence. This is additional context. I believe they stream on Kick as well, and that's going to matter a little bit on in our discussions. Why would he stay after getting mistreated, do you ask? Jean Permanov stays because Owen insists they're his only friends and path out of poverty, convincing him he'll never have a family without them, masking exploitation as masculine self-development. Before I keep going, any thoughts so far? Any thoughts so far on what I've read?
This is some of the most disgusting I've heard in a very long time. It just goes to show the dark lengths people will go for the sake of content, and the reason why we need to take a lot of cameras out of homes.
It also goes to show how, like, no matter how far humans can evolve per se, just like human on human violence is just something that ever since time and really humanity existed, something that people find entertaining to the point of going to Kick to try to see this stuff. This is, I just don't, I can understand maybe seeing like a good squabble, but I do not get the appeal of this.
By the way, I understand people want to give Kick its credit for being able to stay around and exceeding expectations, but at what cost, man? There got to be better regulations. I understand people want the freedom of speech and freedom to be edgy, for real, cool, whatever. This is not edgy. This is not, stuff like this cannot just go under the radar undetected. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just keep going here a little bit. JP kept enduring, hoping his €6,000 monthly salary would secure that life, but unused to money, he spent it all on entertainment. Dozens of recent clips show JP's mother regularly dragged into Owen's stream, pleading with him to leave and not endure the abuse. French streamer Jean Permanov, 46, died in his sleep on day 10 of a marathon stream. Years of relentless humiliation and abuse by so-called friends, exploited for a young audience, ended amid the very spectacle that had tormented him. So essentially, for those who didn't just get what I read, he died in his sleep after day 10 of a marathon stream. End of thread. The people demand that those humiliated him treated him like a circus animal to face the consequences. His so-called friends. Let me just go ahead and play this real quick summary video from Philip DeFranco that may sum this up just a little bit better for y'all. Then we can get into the discussion.
Streamer just died while live at the end of a 10-day broadcast that involved him being beaten, bullied, and brutally deprived of sleep. Right, and that after he had already reportedly been subject to months and possibly years of humiliation and abuse, hours and hours of which were captured on camera with nothing being done to stop it. And as far as who this guy was, you may have never heard of him, but he was actually the most popular Kick channel in France and at times one of the most watched worldwide. His name was Raphael Graven, though he was known online as JP, and he was 46 years old. And while he started out filming himself gaming, eventually he ended up as part of a collective run by a guy by the name of Owen, along with another one by the name of Safine. Right, and these two, they reportedly got a kick out of bullying him, with this soon evolving into full-on physical and psychological abuse. They'd also threatened to throw him out on the street when he tried to leave, leave. They apparently beat him, choked him, shot him with a paintball gun, poured paint and oil on him, and just seemingly tortured him in any way they could think of. In one clip that's been making the rounds, they claim to have locked him in the trunk of the car and drove over speed bumps at high speed. And in the audience watching them, you had people encouraging them to go even further and even paying for it. In fact, by the end of the 298-hour live stream that ended with JP's death, they'd collected more than 36,000 euros according to the fundraising counter on the screen. Though notably with that, JP appears to not be the only victim here, because an individual identified only as Kudu, who's reported to have a disability and be under guardianship, has also suffered abuse on stream. It appears that there were already eyes on this. You had a French investigative media outlet actually exposing the abuse back in December. And in fact, Owen and Safine were taken into police custody and questioned back in January. But then they ended up just getting released and seemingly were free to pick up right where they left off, with the French prosecutor there saying that both the individuals suspected to be implicated and those suspects to be victims denied the commission of any offenses. But again, right, so much of this, it was filmed. And so now, in the wake of JP's death, you have people posting videos of everything he endured, as well as clips of JP speaking out about the abuser, even saying that he felt forced to accept it because he earned an income from them. With one showing Owen taking his phone and reading aloud texts to his mother, one of which said, "This is going too far. I feel like I'm being held hostage with their shitty concept. I've had enough. I want to get out of here, but the other guy won't let me. He's keeping me prisoner." And in another video, Owen and Safine are heard explicitly discussing the possibility of JP dying live on air, pressuring him to say to the camera right now that if he dies live tomorrow, it's because of his shitty health and not because of us. So then, despite all of that, we saw them striking a very different tone after JP died, with Owen posting on his Instagram, "My brother, my partner, my friend. 6 years side by side, never letting go of each other. I love you, my brother, and we will miss you terribly." But then really, other than that, the two have kept quiet. Owen's lawyer claiming that JP had cardiovascular problems and also saying all those scenes are just staged. They follow a script. And with that, I'll say at this stage, the exact cause of JP's death is technically unknown. But he reportedly died in his sleep on the stream, and you had the French Minister for Digital Affairs confirming that an investigation is underway.
Okay, so I know we just went through a lot. So I think a big part of this is what Philip DeFranco said at the end there. Like, the cause of death technically isn't known yet. Everyone is just kind of adding two and two together. His friends were abusive, therefore they're the cause of his death. How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think like people are jumping into conclusions too far? Like, how do y'all feel about the situation? Just initially.
I think it's fair to assume or say that all the torture they put that man through would have caused him to pass in his sleep. Especially if he already had a weak heart, already had problems. You doing this to him, torturing him, definitely didn't help. It definitely made it worse. I can also see people saying that's a bit too far. I honestly don't care, because whatever the case is, there is a bigger entity that is at fault here.
Sage.
Yeah, it's just pretty messed up. I kind of just want to reiterate that, yeah, I don't know what the obsession with human violence is at times. I mean, there's certain ways to do it, right? Boxing, UFC, or even just movies and stuff like that. But just the idea of like torture being content, it's obviously the two that did it are weird. I don't need to sit there and reiterate how sick those individuals are. I'm just like, in my mind is just, and right or wrong, I'm just like, someone's like 40 bands was made. 36-year-olds, $41,000 were given to see somebody get beat and abused. That's crazy, man. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a deep conversation here because, this is a part of like a whole ecosystem where they were incentivized to keep up the content, keep doing what they were doing. Obviously, him being as desperate as he was, like, he felt as if he was kind of forced into doing the content. But I do think a bigger conversation to me here, and Damo kind of alluded to it earlier, is Kick as a platform. Kick as a platform, because I like this type of content easily on any other platform outside of Twitter. This shit ain't lasting 2 days, maybe 3. But as soon as you get traction and people see that this is the content, your shit is gonna get clapped. So I think a big part of this is Kick enabling this type of behavior. Kick having a lax TOS, enabling this type of behavior to happen on their platform. Because I promise you, if they were getting no views, if it wasn't allowed on the platform, this would have stopped day 2. Off the fact that it might have happened on Rumble, But for Kick to allow it, that's kind of crazy to me. So I guess just asking y'all, like, how much of the blame do y'all think Kick has in this instance? And also, I don't want, maybe this is a stretch, but entities like Aiden Ross and everyone who went over to Kick in terms of encouraging, this fuck TOS culture. Because a lot of this is stemming from the fact that a lot of people were tired of YouTube TOS, Twitch TOS, fuck TOS. We want freedom of speech. We want freedom to create whatever content we want.
The blame stops at Kick and it goes as high as, in my opinion, as much blame you want to give the people that tortured the man. My gut reaction is say all the blame, but obviously dumbasses wouldn't know that I still blame the people that tortured them. So whatever math makes sense to people, they'll let you know Kick is just as responsible as the people that tortured them. You gave these people a platform, you monetized these people's behavior. It's sick. There was a death on the platform. There should be legal action taken. There should be changes, mandates, everything made going forward, so stuff like this doesn't happen again. I'm not gonna blame Aiden and Rage and Bruce for going over there and say fuck TOS. They're saying fuck TOS so they chat can call Cop Monkey. Like that's all that is. They're not saying fuck TOS so you can go and have torture corn on stream. I'm not about to give them the blame for that. People are responsible for their actions and what they decide to do for the sake of the content they make. I'm not going to blame anybody for anyone else doing dumb things unless they're emulating them.
I ain't gonna lie, Kick the subplot for me. I'm still on the people that did it and the people that watched it and the people that supported it and the people that kept it going. And again, the people that did it. Those are my two right now. I'm not gonna act like Kick essentially monetizing that is not a problem. I'm not gonna act like Kick essentially giving a platform for that to even be possible is not a problem. But again, it's the subplot. It's something that needs to be addressed. But right now, that's you got some sick people that would have done something like that in their lifetime, and they just felt like, okay, because I can do it now, I will do it. There's some sick motherfuckers, man. I'm not absolving Kick. I just think they're so weird that I'm not even thinking about necessarily Kick. Now, in terms of entering the subplot, Kick is definitely it's to the point where I can't even just be P about it, dog. I'm starting to look like anybody on that junk. I got my eyebrow raised minimum. I ain't gonna lie. It's just not worth it. It's just dead not worth it. The viewers ain't worth it. The money ain't worth it. None of that. So just for the sake of clarity and content per se, Kick is weird. I'm good off that junk. That's crazy. This is literally 101. However, if you're asking me what percentage of blame per se, I'm not even talking about the platform right now. Maybe 5, 10, 20% at max. The people that watched it and were like, woohoo, keep doing it. And the people that did it, those my head honchos. I ain't even.
But how can you not have Kick as equally responsible as those people that decided to watch it? Because Kick gave them a place to watch it. Like, if they didn't have a place to watch that stuff, there would have been no support to do it. I'm not saying that you're wrong per se. I'm just saying, again, I think Kick is equally as responsible because they're providing the platform for said people to watch this.
I'm not, and I'm trying to make sure I understand you correctly, but I'm not going to sit here and act like they aren't responsible. That's why I'm already going to do that or whatever. And it's kind of like a chicken before the egg situation here. But I just feel so strongly, personally, and it may not even be logical, gang. So for the sake of the debate, you win. But I am saying, just from my perspective, from my brain, hell, even emotion, gang, I can deal with a shitty corporation later. Dog, I don't want even a fathom of the disdain, the focus removed from the people that did it. And what's unfortunate is we don't have a way of necessarily targeting the people that put it on. So I think, it's easy to go 1, 2 and Kick, but I'm honestly, we can deal with that when it's time to deal with that. That's why I'm calling it a subplot. I'm concerned about the people that went to Kick, as you said earlier, and they're like, oh yeah, no TOS, no TOS. And maybe back then, to really provide context for those that don't do content, it was when like you couldn't say simp. You couldn't say what was the other one? Incel, whatever the case may be.
Incel, you couldn't say
Yeah,
simp,
stuff
you
like
couldn't
that.
say anything.
Nowadays, dog, you on that joint dropping hard R's, literally killing people, having sex on cam with 15-year-olds on that joint. That's why I'm like, bro, we could deal with them later. I'm focused on the two murderers and the people that pushed it on. That's how I am. Logically, you are 100% correct, but that's just how I am, bro.
For me, just before Damo goes, this right here is exactly why I was anti TOS culture, because TOS is never really implemented for the average user, even the average big creator. It's implemented to stop the edge cases. It is implemented to stop the worst case scenarios. Because when you have a lawless platform where you literally let everything fly, everything flies, includes this. It includes, because I don't know if y'all remember what Kick looked like day one. Me and Damo do. There was straight porn on the fucking website.
Yep.
There were people legitimately fucking on the website. And then when Aiden launched Kick, his first stream was illegally streaming the Super Bowl. To emphasize this whole, oh, you can do whatever the fuck you want on here. So for me, if we're going down this path of, Kick definitely deserves blame because they enabled these people, I can't just bypass, and I understand it's all a pie chart thing of like everyone has different percentage of accountability, but the people who willingly give their platform to Kick so Kick can continue to grow, and specifically people like Aiden Ross as well, because he was the starter of all of this. He is the face of Kick. He is their representative. I can't sit here and say they don't have even a small percentage of the responsibility. I do agree with Sage though that, like, again, the focus shouldn't be on them initially. It shouldn't be the main focus. But again, to act like Kick is just, because I don't think even right now Kick is getting enough smoke as a platform. And I understand, again, they shouldn't be the main focus, but it's like, damn, this is just all so normal to us that we're just accepting this. But
yeah, no, like that's why I said I was just answering your direct question. If we're talking about Kick now, if that's the topic, yeah, nah, dog. I ain't dissing a specific individual or individuals there. I am just saying, yo, that is a platform where me as a human being and how I was raised and how I live life today and stuff that I didn't learn in my household, bro. I can't do it. I don't know how I push go live on that platform anymore. I don't know if I would ever be able to say ever, even, because it's just that ain't it, bro. Like it was already going too far with the racial issues over there, and the again, just they were having sex on the joint, dog. But that's honestly, unfortunately, but true. That's stuff that some people, as B-Soul said, you can't just one ear out the other that. But you can just go on Twitter and see that kind of stuff, right? Now you're telling me that this is just the first case that got caught. I'm not saying there's a ton of them out there, but you're telling me you can get abused on that joint, die on that joint. Man,
yeah,
no.
my thing is like, why can't someone, and on like no plug, playback is low key this, but like, can someone make a live streaming platform that just embraces not being edgy and grow? Like, why has no one done that? Because I think clearly all of this stemmed from people wanting Twitch to have competition, to have an alternative to Twitch where the whole platform is dedicated to live streaming. And that's why I do feel bad for the Kick streamers who aren't edgy, that truly just don't fuck with Twitch from a monetary perspective. They're looking for a new home and they look at Kick specifically because of their monetization.
Right.
So I feel bad for those people, but like, oh my God, can someone just make a live streaming platform that's whole motto is like, hey, you can grow on here. It's an alternative to Twitch. It's an alternative to YouTube, but hey, you don't have to be an edgelord. Like, this is not a company that embraces edgelord culture. I just don't know. But go ahead, Damo.
Yeah.
I would just say it's nasty how Kick just became mainstream dark web. That's genuinely just what that app is. It's mainstream dark web. Obviously, it's not going to be as bad as the dark web, but I can see this being a lot of people's gateway into the dark web. This situation is dark web activities. Like, this is the type of stuff that was happening on the dark web, when we were kids in the 2000s. This is the type of shit that was just happening behind an extensive wall of extensive walls of extensive having to know where to go to find it. Now it's mainstream because we're so used to the internet. That's all Kick is a platform. That's all a lot of these other lawless, TOS-less platforms are. It's just gateways to the dark web. Use it at your own risk. I'm with Sage now, though. Anyone that's just on Kick at this point, yeah, gang, I gotta look at you weird. I just made a new Kick account. That bitch will be deactivated. I'm not even about to fuck with this shit. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm good on there.
And it's tough too. That's why I said I'm not, before some of y'all do it, not my concern to be honest. But if any of y'all are feeling this way because everybody defensive for their guys, I ain't putting a target on no specific. On my fault, I hit it button on my PC. I'm not saying any specific name out there because the soul said not only are people at the top not responsible for this, this ain't got nothing to do with them. But furthermore, even the low tier streamer, the one that got 2 views playing Rivals right now, they ain't like, come on, man. I'm not gonna sit there and immediately say, oh, you're a bad person. But if you know of this situation, even if I was struggling for my clout, for my views, whatever, gang, I got too many more to load that joint up. Me personally. And I'm sorry. I know I'm punting on a deal. Maybe 5 years from now, Kick is on timing. Cool.
Well, yeah, because at that point, if you're so pro multi-streaming, fucking multi-stream on Rumble at that point.
I'm saying there's so many. Why
not?
So many.
Yeah. And I feel like I understand the whole, multi-streaming's the wave. There's enough growth on platforms who have proper TOS for you not to have to stream on Kick. I'm sorry. Like if literally your main 2 platforms are just Twitch and YouTube, there's enough room for you to grow on just those 2 platforms where if you just make it on those 2, you will be just fine. So I don't know.
Retweet.
It's okay to choose morals in that instance.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Because someone's gonna pull a gotcha, and it ain't about argument. First of all, I really hope nobody's debating right now, dog. We talking about something really serious. But if in that line of light, someone doing that, bro, it's just about morals, man. I'm just not doing it. I'm just good.
Yeah. It's just the more I'm thinking about it, like, again, I'm not trying to be a company man right now. This is why I hope Playback works.
Oh,
it's actually a properly funded company that actually cares about morals at least a high level. And it's definitely like a needed space on top of like the tech. But nevertheless.